Hello, bonjour, namaste, ni hao, and ohio, everybody. What is going on? It is Galeriot here, and today we're back again with another Danmachi Battle Chronicle video. And with 4 days to go for the game to launch, we're going to be going over the 5 key things you need to know about the game before you even start playing it. Now, of course, if you guys go on to enjoy today's video, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel for more Danmachi and Danmachi Battle Chronicle content, and let me know in the comment section down below, what are you guys looking forward to the most? Is it the stories, the events, the characters? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm very curious to see what you guys have to say. Now, the first thing you need to know about Danmachi Battle Chronicle is, of course, something you want to know about in any gacha game when you're starting it, and that is, of course, the reroll system. In Danmachi Battle Chronicle, you do have an infinite reroll system which will allow you to reroll as many times as possible, and there is no cap in how many URs you can get from this multi. So you can get 2, you can get 3, you can get even more. Now, ideally, I would say that getting at least 3 is very good, to be quite honest. That will allow you to get a great start. However, I know there will be a lot of people who want to use also the assist ticket and the 4,000 selas that we're getting from the pre-registration rewards and use that as part of the reroll. Now, to be quite honest, there's a couple of problems with that. So first and foremost, we don't know how easy it is going to be to restart the game from scratch, right? Is it as easy as just deleting data or deleting, user data and not having to re-download all the data again? Or do you have to reinstall the entire game and have to start from the very beginning? Because if that is the case, it's going to be very slow. Because the thing is, right, and the second reason why I wouldn't recommend that, especially if you have to start from the very beginning, is based on Bales' stream and my own my own sort of like experience that I had during the closed beta test. To go from the tutorial to the infinite reroll point, it took about 40 minutes to an hour. In Bales' case, it took more than an hour. In my case, it was about 50 to 55 minutes, but that was because I was zooming. I was big time zooming. So obviously it's dependent from player to player, and obviously you have to go through the tutorial sequences, you have to do certain stages and all that jazz. It's not something that you can just skip easily, right? So in that regards, the reroll side of things is going to be very hard to do if you're trying to go for the above and beyond by doing also the ticket and the selas and all that jazz. So I would highly recommend focus your reroll attempts on this infinite reroll system. Don't focus it on anything else. It's not worth it. It won't be worth it in the long run, in my personal opinion. You're better off just trying to get multiple URs from the infinite reroll system and then progressing on with the game, to be quite honest. It'll be much easier. And the reason why you want to get a perfect start is because this game unfortunately has a form of CP penalty, and that's the second thing you need to know. Yes, this game does have a CP penalty, at least based on the closed beta test. We weren't able to see if there was any sort of like CP penalty based on the HoloLive streamers because they were never under the CP requirement. But based on my experience in the closed beta test, we actually had to deal with a CP sort of like CP penalty if we didn't meet the CP requirements. So in this situation, right, take a look at my Belle, Lily, Ice, Hestia, Cassandra, Hermes. They're all way above the CP level requirement, 25,910. The requirement is 13,530, right? Let's take a look at exactly what goes down. Big shout outs to Gail from April, I think it was. Yeah, start of April, for recording all of this and actually making sure that he had this footage so that you and I could see it. Now, this is something that we asked them in the survey to remove. I know a couple of others in the Western community who were part of the closed beta test. We asked them to remove that. Now, I don't know if that is going to be removed in the final version or not. We'll have to wait and see. But basically, by my understanding is that if you are under the CP penalty, CP requirement, you will be imposed a penalty of the enemy taking less damage. Now, I don't know if that's necessarily the enemy increasing in his defense or them reducing our stats. I don't know. But I did notice there was a huge difference. So my Belle, level 30 Belle, is dealing 107, a critical of 307. Very nice damage, right? Super nice damage. You can see the HP of the Silverback Gorilla just going down tremendously. Now, I'm gonna progress on ahead. I think I beat this very easily, and we do it again, if I'm not mistaken, if I progress a little bit ahead, right? So here we go. So I'm progressing a little bit ahead, and you can see right here, I'm just under the CP requirement here. I was trying to min-max basically to try and see if I could, just go right under the CP requirement so that, you can see that even if you're just under the CP level, you're gonna get imposed by it, which of course you'll see right now. I'm at 13,290 versus 13,530, which is of course the requirement, right? So it's only about a 210, no, 220, no, 240 difference. My maths is completely failing me. A 240 point CP difference, right? And I was dealing 130 damage in the first fight with like the same bell, right? It was the same exact bell. If you go back a little bit, right? Same exact bell, no changes whatsoever. I haven't changed a single thing on that bell, basically. And if you look here, nearly half the damage. We're dealing half the damage, basically. Now, this is still good. I remember when we were relatively under the CP level, which was about like, I was under by like, I think it was 1,000 points, which I thought was still decent enough, and especially if Bell was strong enough, he would be able to carry me through. But the problem is Bell was also affected by the CP penalty. Now, obviously, the easy solution to this, of course, is to make sure your characters are leveled up as much as possible. Level up your scene cards, level up your characters, level up your assist and adventures, both, not just your adventures, and make sure your units have the stats ready and the CP levels require, or CP, the CP requirements that they need to have in order to give you the advantage in a fight, basically. But I hope that they remove this. Of course, we still don't know if it is going to be in the final version of the game or not. But right now, based on the closed beta test, we have to run under the notion that yes, this is still a thing in the game and you have to be wary about it. So make sure you guys level up your characters. Make sure your characters are able to push you beyond the CP recommended CP so that you're able to ensure that you can run the game smoothly without any issues of like finding any fights difficult or finding them slow or anything of that sort. Make sure you guys are going above and beyond when it comes to the CP requirement. Trust me when I say this, it's gonna make your lives a lot easier. And a way you guys can upgrade your characters relatively quickly is by using the exchange shops. Now, of course, this is something that we'll have to wait and see on how they implement it in the final version of the game, the launch version of the game that we're going to be getting on 24th of August. But of course, in the closed beta test, we did have an event live in game where Bell had to face off against his major bosses that he had in the first season, including of course the Minotaur, right? And then of course, the more you farmed, the more you were able to get resources like Selas, like gems, like Exilia and stuff like that. And these were the things that you could use to upgrade your characters. Now, of course, the Hololive stream also had another thing as well. They obviously had the gacha shop. They had the limited time shop. The limited time was, of course, featuring stuff like the battle arena, the battle royale mode. That is, of course, the arena tournament, which is, of course, the 3v3 auto battle PvP mode, right? And then, of course, it also had another tab, which I assume was stuff like, yeah, the battle pass and the Realis key and stuff like that. Just all that sort of jazz, basically. I assume that event exchange shops will be in the limited time section because, of course, event exchanges are usually only there for a limited time, not more than like, you know, a week after the event ends. They allow you to still exchange stuff, but beyond that they remove it afterwards, right? So it'll be in the limited time exchange shop, but you want to take advantage of this because you want to make sure that you are able to get a lot of these material that will come in handy. These materials will come in handy for you because at the end of the day, you're going to be able to use them to upgrade your characters really quickly, provided you actually take advantage of it, right? If you can go back to the limited time section, Bales, please go back to the limited time section really quickly for me. Give me that 1 second. There you go. So you can see that even with the magic stone, which is of course the material you get for doing a lot of battle royale stages again and again and again, you will be able to get all these gems, these equipment pieces, the Selas, the almighty bonds, which are of course ways for you to basically dupe out your character without having to use actual dupes, right? Without actually having to summon, you can dupe out your character through those materials as well. So again, these are great ways for you to basically get a lot of materials for your characters without having to, run through the need of having to basically farm a stage again and again and again and waste stamina when you could literally do it at the same time as clearing an event or for doing PvP, which obviously doesn't use that much doesn't use stamina at all. It's in the closed beta test, it was a free-for-all. You could jump into the battle royale whenever you wanted. So these are the things that you need to know about the game when you get in, is making sure that you are aware that there are other ways to get materials rather than just using up your stamina very early on in the game for no reason whatsoever. So make sure you guys take advantage of this as much as possible and use this to your advantage. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is, of course, the banners themselves. At the game's launch, you're probably going to see something like what Bales just had on screen right now. You're going to have the regular gacha, you're going to have some paid gachas as well, and these are things that you'll get at the start of the game. However, remember that the regular gacha is a standard gacha banner. It's not a limited time banner. It's not a one featured character only banner. We are probably going to see an event release very soon in the game, because of course this Thursday on the 24th of August we are going to be getting, of course, the game's launch, and then on the 27th of August on Sunday there is a live stream where they're going to be talking about the future of the game, which will probably include details about the first ever event that we're going to be getting in game. And that first event will probably feature a new character, because to be quite honest, right now the game is missing a lot of well-known characters, specifically characters from the Freya familia. They're all missing. There's no Alan, there's no Charles, there's no Freya herself. They're all missing, and we know they're in game. Freya was in the original trailer as one of the big four familias, because they showed off the Hostess of Fertility, they showed off the Loki familia, they showed off Hestia familia, and they showed off, of course, Freya familia. She's not in the list, nor is her familia, so she's definitely going to be there. She might even be the first unit. We'll have to wait and see on that front, of course, right? We're missing members of the Takemikazuchi familia with Uka. Hephaestus is missing Tsubaki. The Hostess of Fertility doesn't have Anya, Chloe, or Lunor, so we're going to get those characters as well. So there's a bunch of characters that we're missing still in the game, and I think that that's another reason why you should be very cautious in using your Selas at the very beginning. I know we're getting 4,000 Selas off rip for the pre-registration rewards. I would urge you guys to probably save that Selas for the first banner instead. Wait till the first banner comes out and then go all in and summon, to be quite honest. I wouldn't start summoning right now, because the regular gacha, while nice and it'll give you a good amount of characters and scene cards and all that jazz, I think it's better for us to save up for the first limited banner or whatever it ends up being, to be able to try and get at least a featured character. And it might be even more valuable, because usually the first character that they always launch tends to be a bit powerful. So keep that in mind. And I'm not saying they as in the Danmachi Battle Chronicle developers. I mean just generally in gacha games. I mean, you look back in history, you know, the first characters are always really powerful usually. So I would advise you guys to be patient and save up for the first limited banner when it does come out. Start stocking up on Iris, start farming. And again, it's one of the other reasons why make sure your infinite reroll goes well, because if your infinite reroll goes well, they'll carry you for as long as possible until you can then start summoning on the banner and allow you to expand your team better. So keep that in mind. Make sure your infinite rerolls are good so that you can save up for the better limited banner that will come out inevitably, right? So that's something for you guys to bear in mind. Now, the final fifth thing that you guys need to know about is skips. Now, there are skips in this game, and thankfully there's no skip tickets, so you can skip as much as possible. However, it's not as simple as that. Unfortunately, it is not as simple as that. So if you go back to the menu, to the start screen, the attack screen of when we want to get into the fight basically and go from there, right? If you look at the very bottom of your screen, on the bottom left or bottom middle basically, where it says 10 out of 10, that is your skip button. But what that means is you can only skip 10 times, and they can only skip 10 times in a day. Now, this is why I'm saying use it efficiently, because every stage in this game has a limited amount of skip ticket usage, effectively. I say skip tickets, a limited amount of skips per stage, right? And it refreshes every day. And of course, you have limited stamina. As you can see at the very top next to the Selas count from my account in this closed beta test, I had only like 53 out of 64 stamina at the time, and this stage used up 6 stamina. So basically, if I had maximum stamina, I'd only be able to do the stage 10 times. I'd be able to skip the stage 10 times, but then I'd be lost for the other stages. So in a day, when you're farming your events and stuff and all that jazz, make sure you're using your skips efficiently in accordance with how your stamina operates, right? Make sure you guys are using it efficiently and maximizing the usage so that you are getting the most amount of materials early game. Because at the end of the day, the early game is where people will struggle for things like Valis, things like materials, experience books and stuff like that, or Exilia as it is in this game, memory Exilia for scene cards, your skill level up books, and so on and so forth. So you want to efficiently use your stamina on the stages that will give you the most amount of materials. Maybe even you'll want to use your skip tickets on the event, if there is an event, to be able to get the materials that you want from the exchange shop as well, to make sure that you're getting as many materials as possible. So keep that in mind, of course, right? Is that you want to make sure that you're ready for whatever comes out with the right amount of skips as well as the right amount of stamina as well getting into a fight. Now, of course, one thing to note is that early game your stamina will recover more faster, or I should say more faster. It'll recover faster. That's not because more faster is definitely not English. It'll recover faster because your stamina is going to increase at the more you rank up in player level, right? But still, I would advise you guys to be very efficient with your skip ticket usage, using it on the right stage, not using it on random stages that don't necessarily give you the things that you need, and making sure that you're taking advantage of, you know, what the game is offering you in terms of game mechanics, right? So there you have it. Those are the 5 key things that I would highly recommend you guys be aware of when it comes to the game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Please be sure to leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, take it easy, everybody. Bye-bye.